But the people, most of people in North Korea, their chance of dying from COVID is like way, way, way lower than dying from starvation. COVID is affecting this top elite. North Korea spends, even till this year, they spend $4 billion making these missiles and nuclear weapons. The regime taking these like nonsense measures to combat COVID, while the starvation killing way more people than COVID. Hi guys, as always, I'm back. Today I'm here to inform you the current news that is coming out of North Korea. As this is the most brutal dictatorship that we know, of course the news is not that bright. However, this is very important for all of us to know that what is going on in that Hermit Kingdom. The Radio Free Asia confirmed that on November 28th, just a few weeks ago, North Korea executed another person for breaking the COVID rule. Right, there are like in this country, in America, in South Korea, other countries that you possibly pay the fine or go to jail short period if you break the restriction, but not in Hermit Kingdom. They just do public execution. On November 28th, there was a man. He had to trade to survive, and he was trying to do trading with a bit through China in a smuggling business, and North Korea definitely, of course, executed him. And before that, in November, again, there were two. One of them were a currency trader, and another of them also a trader, like my father was. And they were, of course, trying their best to keep their family be fed and not dying from starvation. And for that, they got also executed. North Korea's COVID rule is definitely going against any common sense that we have right now. They are about to entering another, the worst famine in modern human history. The famine that in 90s killed more than 3 million North Koreans. In the not throughout North Korea I'm talking about, especially the part just in the northern part. Then North Korea's population was less than 20 million, and 3 million died, more than that. North Korea is about to enter another of that great famine in this 21st century, while our country is having problems with obesity. What is sickening about all this that the countries have been offering food aid to North Korean regime. South Korea especially were saying they're begging to give something to North Korean regime, like, can I give you this food to help your people to be fed? And North Korea said no. This is a thing, like when people keep saying that, oh, North Korea is poor because of the Western, like especially America's aggression towards other countries, that is why North Korean people are suffering. Like, please give me a break. Are you serious? If anyone think that North Korean people are suffering because of people like in the West with their colonization mindset that they are imposing sanctions to North Korea, that is why North Korean people are suffering, that is absolute force. The North Korean regime is refusing this food aid because they just somehow think that people doesn't need to be fed. And the also why this is so bothering Kim Jong-un, the COVID, is that he's never gonna die from starvation himself. The thing that can kill these high-ranking officials and the dictator is actually COVID. But the people, most of people in North Korea, their chance of dying from COVID is like way, way, way lower than dying from starvation. COVID is affecting this top elite, and that's why they don't care. They want to prevent that tiny minimum possibility with interacting with anybody outside the world, and they were trying to prevent getting COVID. Therefore, in the price of starving its entire citizen and let them die in the most barbaric way, the regime is taking that chance. So the aid is not going in, and this year, in 2020, North Korea's trade with China, the only trading partner, compared to the pre-COVID, in October, just like when we see the data, just less than 1% they've been trading with China. what does this to do entire population? I mean, as much as I have been against China, definitely not supporting the regime, and North Korean regime actually stopped even complete that, even smuggling, the only way for people to survive. And that is what is so alarming about this whole trend, that the regime is taking to people into this darkness that we don't know what's gonna happen to people anymore with these rules. Due to COVID, and another area is heavily impacted, that is way less people reaching freedom, the North Koreans I'm talking about. In 2009, when I arrived in South Korea that year, actually, almost 3,000 people, 3 North Korean defectors became free. Now in 2020, less than 150 people. The defection rate fell dramatically when Kim Jong-un took over, especially around 2014, 15, 16, it went really down. But the COVID area is not even to mention, it just went down so down, barely anyone becomes free right now from North Korea. This is also, of course, Kim Jong-un has this order of shoot to kill order in the border. He demanded that, ordered his border guards that if they see anybody crossing the border or approaching the border, do not care if it's a Chinese or not, just shoot them or kill them.
Authorities have reportedly issued a shoot to kill order on those entering the country from China. Now, this means anyone within a kilometre of the North Korea-China border will be killed, regardless of the reason for them being there. US forces in South Korea say that the North's Special Operations Forces have been posted at the border. Pyongyang had closed its border with China in January to try to prevent the virus from spreading.
And this is making it impossible for anyone to escape and become free right now under COVID and under Kim Jong-un. So while all of this is going on, North Korea is not stopping spending their money to developing more weapons of mass destruction. North Korea spends, even till this year, they spend $4 billion making these missiles and nuclear weapons. North Korea spends their 23% of GDP on developing on their military. However, the US, even though we think the US spends way too much money for their military, they only spent 3.3% of their GDP in 2016. China spends only 1.9%, and South Korea only spent 2.6%, and Japan only spends 1%. While all these countries in this greatest, military countries spending no more than 3%, North Korea theirs has spent 23%. And the price is being paid obviously by the people. This disaster, this atrocity is completely man-made. Starvation, oppression, everything is man-made. And this is why this is so alarming. How much can government do a harm to people's lives? The regime taking these nonsense measures to combat COVID, while the starvation killing way more people than COVID. And this is not how any country should deal with the COVID restriction. And while the people is going through fighting for the basic need, the Kim Jong-un is using his hackers to stealing vaccines from other countries. In the last month, Reuters reported that 9 companies, even the one foreign in South Korea and the other ones in America and other countries, been attacked by North Korea.
Technology giant Microsoft says that hackers from North Korea and Russia have been targeting scientists who've been working on vaccines.
And the regime trying to steal the vaccine, and Kim Jong-un wants to survive himself. And other news, of course, broke out that the high-ranking officials and Kim Jong-un himself already vaccinated from Chinese vaccines. This news has been verified a bit more, but there is also high chance that Kim Jong-un already vaccinated himself while he's starving all his people on purpose. There is no way to even begin the cruelty and I mean, just like how on earth this is possible, and this is why we need to think about our individual freedom and our liberty above anything. It is important for us protecting others, but we still need to think about that how we prevent for the regimes to rise like North Korean regime and taking everything away from all of us and making its people slaves to their power. I'm grateful as always that you are here to learn about the truth and what a absolute power can do to individuals. Thank you guys, and if you really care about freedom and care about what I do, please support me through my Patreon, and I look forward to seeing you guys all next time.